and then you will need to unmute. All right, everybody, thank you so much for jumping on. This is volume 3 of Thrivepalooza interviews. If you're not sure what that is or what's going on, we're just hearing from different people, Thrive promoters that have gone to Thrivepalooza before, what it did for them. And we really just want to encourage you to come to Thrivepalooza. So I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, like, well, what is it really? How do I get there? We just want to let you know what we think about it, what it's done for promoters' businesses when they came back, and then also some tips and tricks that people have learned along the way. So I'm going to introduce Becky. Becky, please tell us when did you start being a promoter, and when was your first Thrivepalooza, and then kind of tell us what that looked like.
Okay. I started the end of 2014, and 2015, I did not go. Thrive was new in our area. 2 of the girls went. They came back and were fired up. Like, we had this meeting and everybody gathered and they shared with us. That was the first year of Team Hoyt. So they told us that amazing story. And then, just all the excitement and stuff. And I remember sitting there thinking, I cannot believe I have to wait a year to experience that, because they were fired up and I knew that I would love to go. So anyhow, I had to wait another year. When we went, I heard another story. It was 4 people to a room. And at one point, one girl couldn't find her people. So we just threw blankets on the floor, and she made a bed on the floor one night because she couldn't find the people she was rowing with. And that's another thing, you guys. If you feel like, I'm going alone or something like that, every year we are trying to, there's always a space for you. There's always somebody looking for a roommate, or someone has an extra spot all the time. I connected one of my promoters with 3 girls that she never met before, and now they're all friends. So anyhow, so it is amazing. The excitement of being surrounded by thousands of Thrivers, you can't even, I can't even explain it. It's like the Thrive experience. You have to experience it to know what it's all about. When we go there, we're all one. It's not like this 200K, this $1 million earner, this 4K, this 12K. We're all there celebrating Thrive and just the excitement. I mean, we're all Thrivers. We love it. We get excited. We all have the same passion for the product. We want everybody in the world thriving and feeling like us. So it's like a big unity thing. And then I love the part of the company. I mean, I love the whole thing, but how they give. They give to, the Team Hoyt, breast cancer, Thrive Hunger. I love being a part of that. And our CEOs and president are just so giving, and it's just a great company to be a part of. So I just say you have to get there. You have to get there to experience it. You hear stories, you hear people, how they've overcome things. And then you're just fired up, and you come back and you might just share it with your family, or you share it with your team, but you're going to share it with someone because it's life-changing. So this is my 5th year, and I'm going to go every year unless something keeps me, but there's no way I would miss it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. What happened when you came back from your first Thrivepalooza? Like, a lot of times people say, well, I went to this event, and then, and nobody has said this about Thrivepalooza. I'm just saying other events, right? You go somewhere and then you come back and you don't really know what to do with all the info. You don't know how to apply it. What kind of happened for you coming back?
Okay, it is overwhelming because you get all this great information, and it's like, what do I implement? So you got to take yourself back and start with one thing at a time. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, our team got together and just, some people had notes that other people missed, and, we just shared it all. And then I implemented a little at a time. I took one, made a habit out of it, took another, made a habit out of it. So, that's the only way you can do it, because you can't do it all at one time.
I love it. Absolutely. Guys, that's the thing. You do learn so much. And I feel this way anytime I go to a speaker event or a live event, like even a Bible study speaker, like I feel like there's so much information. And so my recommendation for y'all, my tip is write down as much as you can write down. Like you're not gonna soak it all in right then. So like those things that are, just write them down, just write. I come back with so many notes, and then you can come back and you can decompress. Like you need a decompress day, and you can organize your notes. You can highlight the things that stood out to you. I rewrite my notes because they're so crazy. Like it's like squiggle squaggle all over the place, and that's the best way that I can get it all there. But to come back and do like Becky said, like you've got to just one thing at a time. And I encourage y'all too, with people that you went with or with your team, that y'all get together after Thrivepalooza, and we'll talk about all that later. But get together after and keep growing together with and reminding, oh, remember where they said this at Thrivepalooza, that kind of thing. So thank you so much, Becky. We're going to jump on over to Lindsay. Lindsay, please, same thing, girl. Tell us who you are, where you're from, when did you start thriving, and when was your first Thrivepalooza?
I'm Lindsay McLaughlin. I am in Northern California, and I started promoting in 2016, and I've gone to conference every year since then. So I hit conference. I started actually right before conference. So went to conference, and it was extremely overwhelming at first because I had no idea what I was doing in the first place. And then to go into such a large event, it was a bit much. But it was so fun. Just the atmosphere there and the vibe, it just, pumps you up and sets you on fire. What was the other question?
Well, okay. So obviously you had just started.
Yes.
And you came to Thrivepalooza, and then how were you able to just, okay, I can buy a ticket, I can buy airplane, I can get a hotel, like, did you have to do any certain things to get there, or was it just all kind of cards played in the right spot for you?
Yeah, everything kind of just aligned for me to be able to go. Because I think I was so new, I just sat down with my husband and said, you know what, I decided to do this, so I'm just going to go full force. And I feel like I'm really being called to go. A girlfriend and I, we shared a room. I actually drove to the Bay to take a flight from there so that it was cheaper, which that's about a 2-hour drive from me. So it was a bit of travel to get out there, but it was totally worth it. And yeah, I mean, we had a pretty large group that went, and we just soaked in as much as we could. Like you said, like just note score. I remember just pages and pages and pages because I didn't know what I was going to need and what I didn't need to know.
Awesome. What happened when you came back from Thrivepalooza? What did you kind of hit the ground running with what you learned?
So the first year and the second year, yeah, the team came together. We all compared notes. There was a lot of momentum that happened after Thrivepalooza. I remember, especially the second year, like I said, you get so fired up. So I'm just shooting messages off to anybody and everybody that wasn't able to attend. And I remember coming back home and my girlfriend being like, man, you were on fire. You just kept texting us and messaging us. And I just wanted everybody to have the knowledge and the information. And then last year, I actually hit 12K for the very first time while we were at conference. So that was really, really cool to hit it while my team was there. And actually, I ran into Chas while we were there, and she's like, so what are you going to do with the money, And I was like, I don't even know. I haven't even gotten there.
I love it. I love it. And I love what you said about like just that fire coming off. Like, y'all, she was shooting messages right after she left, And so that is something that can't be taught or or forced. Like, I can't light a fire under you. It has to be lit by you in an event like that, or, you know, whatever the situation is. But she's coming back on fire. She's trying to tell her team and anybody that didn't go how awesome it was. And they're kind of like, okay, like, you know, like they see it's fire from her, but they don't get it because they weren't there. And so when you come and you leave, you're messaging potential thrivers, because you're reignited with excitement, where, you know, the daily day in and day out of life in general, whether it's kids or work or bills or whatnot, it sometimes kind of puts your fire out a little bit. So this is a great time to just get reignited and come out, and great things happen for your business when you leave there. So thank you so much, Lindsay. It was so great to hear from you. All right, so we're gonna pop on over to Katie. Katie, girl, let's chat. Thrivepalooza. When was your first event? When, you know, how far apart from when you first started Thriving to your first event, and what did that look like?
Okay, so I started in November of 2017, and I wanted so badly to go to Thrivepalooza in 2018, but I was like massively pregnant, and I have a tendency of having my babies early, so my doctor was like, absolutely not.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. Like, you really were trying. Like, she was trying to get like a note from her doctor and stuff.
I was like, I need to go. Like, you don't understand. I need to go. And he was like, you're not going to be 1,000 miles away giving birth. So that was a no-go. I also had to miss many getaways because of it. But I am back, baby. Like, I am on those getaways. I'm at Thrivepalooza now. So my first one was last year, actually. And there's, like everybody else had said, there's nothing that matches the effort. Like, we could sit on the Zoom and get fired up, or you could have a local and get fired up, or you could, you know, enroll a customer and get fired up. But there is nothing that matches the energy when you walk away. And more than the trainings, and more than like the tips and the speeches that you'll hear, and the leaders that, you know, will walk across the stage and pour into you, more than that though, I think my biggest takeaway is just getting to know the people that I followed on social media for, you know, up until that point, or the people on my team who live 1,000 miles away and I've never met them before, or leaders like Lisa and Jamie Pecca, like I had never met them before. So just sitting down next to people who've walked the stage as a millionaire, or, you know, collected that big 200K sign, and going, wow, they eat, sleep, breathe, poop just like I do. You know what I mean? Like, just to know that they are literally no different than I am, and they're just as much of a hot mess. And if they could do it, why not me, right? Like, if they can walk that stage and they're just as normal as I am, why not me? So that was the biggest thing for me, is seeing that these aren't people who were born, you know, destined to go 200K or be a millionaire. These are people who are just like you and I, who got to work and who shared these 3 steps and who shared the opportunity with people, and they're no different than me. And that was my biggest takeaway, and that was what really fueled me to know that I'm capable of that too. If they can do it, I can do it.
I love it. So yeah, okay, because you do have a cool little experience in that. Let's talk about that. You wanted to go. You desperately wanted to go. You physically couldn't go. And did they live stream it that year? No.
Did they what?
Did they live stream it that year? No.
I can't hear you.
Did they live stream it that year?
Oh, no. I don't know.
They started that the year later, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
So for someone that you still worked your business that year, that you couldn't go to Thrivepalooza, you worked your business, you had baby, all that stuff, and then came the next year. What did that feel like? Like, were you, like, what did that feel like to be like, I didn't go, but then you actually got to go? Was it like more than you expected? The energy?
It was everything that I had hoped for, plus some. I had been to different events before for other things, and I didn't feel from those events what I felt from Thrivepalooza. Like Becky had said, I don't know if the person sitting next to me is a 4K. I don't know if the person sitting next to me is a millionaire. Like, just being around those people, nothing matched that energy, nothing. And I didn't stop working my business when I couldn't go. I mean, everybody loves promos. Everybody loves like those double, triple fast starts and the new products, and like everybody loves those things. And everybody naturally grinds a little bit harder when those things are announced. But when you come home from Thrivepalooza, just like the energy that you have, it's like, I didn't care who was doing what over here, or like what was going on over here. I was just sharing. Like I was sharing with literally anybody who would not block me on social media, or who would give me like 3 seconds of the time of day just to share with them what those 3 steps have done for me. And that belief, even in myself, is something that I didn't have until I walked away from Thrivepalooza.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to, bear with me for just a second. Okay. I made it to where anybody can unmute themselves, but what I want to hear is, let's talk. We've got some time. Let's talk. Any of you maybe that went before, but you had to like bunk up, you had to do it on a budget. What are some ideas? So if y'all just, somebody unmute and start talking, and then I'll control it.
You know what I will share about that too is what we did last year. What we ended up doing is we actually rented an Airbnb near the conference center, because it's great if you can stay right on location with the hotel, but hotels can be expensive. And what we did is we got a bigger Airbnb that housed a ton of people. So when you're splitting it among 15 people, I think it was like $110 per person for a beautiful house. And I'm saving money. If you can hear my kids crying, I'm sorry. He didn't nap today. My husband is out there on baby duty. If you get an Airbnb, buy food, right? Like buy your eggs and your lunch meat for like breakfast or lunch, or like pack food with you, pack snacks. You don't have to hit up the concession stand and spend $15 every break that there is. Like there are ways around it. So split up the cost with your Airbnb, split up the cost with groceries, split up the cost of gas, carpool with each other. Like if you guys are staying together, there's no reason that you both have to take your car. You know what I mean?
Right.
So really knuckle down on those things and just like lean on each other and evenly contribute to that. But it makes it so much cheaper when you do it that way.
Yes. And even like hotels, like if people are like, well, I want to stay on property, or I want to stay closer, in the vicinity, you can do the same in hotels. You can bunk up, you can buy cases of bottled water on your way to the hotel, lots of snacks, like whether it's from Walmart or Costco or whatever, you can get the snack packs. We've got Thrive Bites and bars and all those things that you can bring with you.
We have squeezed 8 women into a hotel room, so it can definitely be done.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like I have to say this every Zoom as we talk about Thrivepalooza. If you put more than is supposed to be in a hotel room, don't be loud. Like, like try not to get busted, basically, is what I'm saying. You want to just make sure that you're following the rules, because I don't think they're going to kick you out if you're following the rules. You just, it's the ones that squeeze 8 people in a room and have a big old party. Like they're going to come knocking on your door. So we want to make sure everybody knows, hey, you can do this. Just be quiet. All right. So if you have, who wants to unmute, or you could even just drop it in the chat, some ideas. Lindsay, go ahead.
So we did 2 in a room 2 years. We did 3 in a room last year. We did the snacks, we did the waters. Prior to going, myself and a few of the leaders in my upline, we got together, we ran promos. So we were doing some cash back that could go towards your ticket. We were doing, from some of the leaders above me, 200Ks and above, they passed down some cash backs to go towards our hotel room. We exchanged paying for Ubers if we needed Ubers. So we would just kind of, get an Uber for the 4 or the 5, however many were with us. And then we would take turns paying for it so that no one person was stuck with that extra cost. And then we just, if we ate out or whatnot, we, didn't do the expensive lunch or the expensive dinner or whatever. We just kind of budgeted it out, and that helped a ton. And like you said, the more that you get together, you can split costs. You could share meals. A few of the girls did that. We would go to dinner, they would split.
Plates are big. Play too
Yeah.
big. Yeah. Especially in Texas.
Very true.
A lot of food.
And I mean, some of our girls, you know, they did yard sale for money, or they sold stuff on the Facebook marketplace. You know, just, you have to go there. It's just like the getaways. You learn so much from not only the people on stage, but the leadership that's there with you and having your team around you, that you'll come back with so much, you know, to work off of, play with, and yeah.
That'll be great. And then, and yeah, like I've said this before with the Facebook marketplace, selling things, whatever, go through your house. I'm sure there's some things, if you haven't purged yet, I'm sure there's some things that you're like, I don't really need that. Or gosh, we took that down to paint and we never hung it back up. I wonder why we never hung it back up. Like, you know, different things in your house. Maybe you've lost some weight with Thrive. Have you gone through all of your jeans? You know, stuff like that. You can easily, and plus, by the way, when you make a post that you have, your jeans are too big and you need to sell them, people are like, wait, why are your jeans too big? So then they want to know about Thrive. So just saying. But the other thing is, and I totally forgot about this, when what Lindsay was saying about like sharing Ubers, taking turns, whatever. So Uber now has, I don't know if Lyft does, but I know Uber now has the share an Uber. So like if Lindsay and I got in an Uber together and we wanted to split the cost of the Uber, I could hit share and I'd select her, and it sends her, you know, she pays part and I pay part. There's also an app, if there's a group of y'all, it's called Split and Wise. And I've used that on girls trips before. It's just an app, and basically you put everybody into the app and everybody inputs what all they've spent that y'all are splitting, right? So if one person got dinner that was $200, it's going to split it between everybody. If you went to the grocery store and one person grabbed the water that day and then one person grabbed something else, you put it in the app and it's going to split it between everybody. And it basically tells you who you need to pay, or if everybody's pretty much even. Like, so it's pretty cool. That's a way to not have to like figure, because I hate figuring. I'll do it, but I hate it. So, all right. So guys, here's the deal. There's lots of ways to get there. You just have to get there. You've got to make that a priority. You've got to grab your ticket now. You know, a lot of times we say just get the ticket and figure out the rest, right? Like if you're gonna fly, start looking at those, because they're just gonna get more expensive, in my opinion. But just start doing the legwork. Start making it happen. Start putting aside money now. Save money on the daily. Do you get yourself a treat every day? Do you have breakfast somewhere every day or something like that? Save that money, put it aside, and make sure that you're just saving it for Thrivepalooza. And that can be your spending money. That can be your extra money, whatever. So yes, I am so excited too. Somebody said sell 4 3-day minis to pay for your ticket. Yeah. So if most of y'all ordered with the double triple that just happened, you probably got some product in your house. Now you can turn around and you can sell that product. You can get people on Thrive, and you can make money to get to Thrivepalooza. It's like a win-win-win. I mean, that's a no-brainer right there. So awesome, Brittany. I love that. Brittany, can you talk real quick and share with us? You can unmute.
Hey, yeah, I can unmute.
Hey, okay. So tell us that. What did you do to get there?
So hang on just a minute. Hey, put that in there, okay? My child is trying to wash all of my dishes.
This is an impromptu moment.
Oh my gosh, it so is. Okay, hang on just a minute, okay? So during the double and triple, I triple qualified, and then I bought a $400 pack under my husband's account, which basically made my 400 pack free, and I was able to sell minis out of that. And I put $100 in my PayPal. I transferred it to my bank and literally just bought my ticket today. So it was basically like I didn't even have to come up with $100 to buy it.
That's awesome. And guys, you can do that, you know, with anything that you're doing between now and then, for whether it's for the airfare or the gas money, or whether it's for your staying or for food, you know. There's a lot of things. So I just want y'all all, thank you, Brittany. I just want y'all all to really think outside the box and just know that you have to make it there. You have to make this happen, because Thrivepalooza is, like they all said, it's unexplainable. But when you leave, you definitely will see your business grow when you leave there. So thank you so much for sharing, everybody. We're so excited. I cannot wait. Guys, go get your ticket. All right. Bye, y'all.